So I think greatness is within the person who's doing it.
Do you feel that you need to renew your mind when it comes to sex? Because if we're saying sex is not defiled, as long as you're married and you have room, that's a whole different topic. Because some people don't believe in that, the freedom to have sex however you want to have sex. But if you're in the mindset that, you know, whether you watch porn or masturbated or whatever, you have a perversion of sex, like what you're actually doing in the act of sex, some might say it's not a sin if you're doing it with your spouse.
Yeah.
So with that idea, we're saying, what if the best sex you've ever had is not necessarily tied to a soul tie, in the sense of like, I need to be delivered from this because it's lust. What if the best sex you've had was out of love? And that image pops in your head.
Is that wrong?
Is that wrong? Is it the same as thinking of porn? Or is that your way of just comparing to say, this is my standard, and maybe I gotta teach him how to get there?
I think that depends on how you're using it. Because if you're using it to come to your climax, then you have another person in the bed with you. But if you're using it from like, this is my experience that I've gathered, and now I'm sharing it with this person, like, hey, while we're in the act, this is what I desire, this is what I want, then that's different. So it's like somebody who's not saved or not married, okay, they're in the wrong position, they're missing the mark, they're in sin.
But if no matter how you teach them, they'll never match to that.
So in that case too.
So you're like, I gotta get happy though. So I gotta.
It's gonna take practice.
What if that person though that's your best you will never find the ever?
Being honest with you, if that person has, for example, has give and the last person gave the best head, you may have to accept my brother that this one is not.
Exactly.
You're not gonna get this out of her. And you might just have to chalk it up like, look, she might be good at.
But when you're getting it, you're saying that.
My baby, that's not your gift. You do the other positions right. But see, that's the thing.
You meditate on the gifted.
But see, then and this thing, if you're in Christ, well, you have to crucify your flesh in that area.
Deny yourself.
And you have to deny yourself in that area. Because thinking about it too, let's take it to the other person's extent. Let's say you're not endowed like she once had. You now have to, it's both have a game. If you have a past and you're working, you don't just go into bed every time and like come in with your whole luggage of your past. You got to be in the moment. That's why love is important. That's why you should do this in marriage. Because if you come in with your experiences.
Love or lust, you want an orgasm, period.
Facts.
True.
So that's my question. What does it take to get there?
That's why I kind of agree with you, but I don't. Only because if you know, like, for whatever reason, like your partner can't do something, but you have the ability to make sure you get what you want out of it, and you've tried the conversation, it's not working, right? Let's say, just even on the topic of head, if I say go in circles and you still going in lines, and it's just not working. It's just not working. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you're not getting what I'm saying. Kind of like what Mama's saying. Like, I keep telling you something. It's not working. You're not getting it. So what do we do? If I know that some way, somehow, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, but I can create some type of mental picture that'll help me get to where I need to get to.
Well, this is why it's bigger
wrong?
This is why it's bigger than sex, because in certain positions, that's why you're going to have to be the lead.
Yeah.
And that's the part where you're going to have to role play in those areas. Like, when it comes to this, I lead. When it comes to these areas, you lead. You get what I mean? You would kind of have to use your imagination on that one.
It's like,
because
But that's the question. Is it ever possible to never use your imagination of the past, no matter what it is?
I don't think
to get the orgasm you need and
it's
want.
gonna happen.
I think anything is possible, but I don't think it have to come to your mind. If
what else do you know though?
Wait.
I think it's gonna come to your mind. You can't get away from it.
And nobody's like,
If you know how to get there, why wouldn't you get there? Is the question.
So if I know how to get there, I'm gonna get there.
With your imagination.
No, but okay. So you can imagine someone that you was with in the past, right? That's what's your best.
Okay.
And within that imagination, you with this person. Even within that imagination, it will not satisfy satisfy your flesh.
That's not true.
That's what we're saying.
That's
not necessarily true for everybody. For some people, they can just literally think of something and they can get there.
So if you have to,
that's what somebody masturbating is
if you have to use, if you have to use a past image of a person, in the present moment,
you're not present.
That means you're not present and your flesh is not satisfied. Even at that moment, if it comes, you come. But that means you're going to continue to do it because a solution haven't been revealed to that part of you that have to go back in the past and pull something from it.
I don't necessarily agree because I think that there's times where it can be circumstantial. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm necessarily always going to go to my past. Maybe in that one instance, for whatever reason, whatever the situation is, I'm not being satisfied just today, just in this one
But that's
moment.
what James was saying. You could teach them.
Yeah.
Right, you can teach them.
So the question sounds like it's saying to reach your climax.
Yes.
So it seemed like to be satisfied at that moment, you going to the past. That means every time you want to reach your climax, you're going to be going into
That's
the
what
past.
I'm saying. It doesn't have to be every time.
Remember, we're talking about this is the best sex of your life.
Yes. So
we're talking about those times where you can't find it in you.
correct.
Like,
So with your new partner having sex,
Yes.
that means the best will never equal up with your new partner.
Yeah.
So you said he's going into the past.
you have to. That's what
Right.
we're saying. It's like,
So,
let's say you're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
For women, it's different because you have to have that emotional attachment. Men are more visual, all of that. So let's say I'm married to my man, and let's say I got kids. I'm tired. I'm not in the mood. I'm angry at my man, but I'm horny. I really want to have an orgasm. In that moment, if the thought of the best sex of my life enters in my mind, am I gonna be like, get thee behind me, Satan?
No.
Or am I just gonna let it flash and let it happen and get what I get out of it?
We're human in the field. We're not perfect. We're human because you have to be a saint to sit here and say I'm not gonna do that. Because how do you know? You really don't know. You gotta be a saint. Like you're saying, I'm perfect. I control my thoughts, and now I'm never gonna slip up in that area.
But see, that's different. It depends on the person. Because I would think I would not want to be in the act and be in my head, and I don't want to sleep with a dead body and I look at you and you're in your head. That's just not pleasurable. That means at the end of the day, you're using a toy. You're using me as a toy. I'm not even present really. I'm just a body. And nobody wants to feel like that.
Right.
That's not fair to either
I
party.
want to
Go
say,
there. Do you have to go there? Or does that come on top?
I mean, let's be honest. Think about people who get married and they're virgins. They have no prior experience. So they may have used porn. They may have used just imagination. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time until they figure out each other's bodies. They figure out what each other like. Even being married, after a woman has a baby, her body's different. So this is not the same body you had year one. You learning something different. Like I'm on year 8. This is some of the best sex I've ever had.
He said, you bring it in.
But this is the thing too. Your chemistry is built.
Yeah.
So yes, that was the best with the other person with this thing, but like
this thing.
whatever thing it was.
Yeah, you
But
made a choice, yeah.
I'm making work in progress. Okay, I got to build
So you grow
something
into
new.
it.
But that came over time. That's what I'm saying. So
And it's gonna take time.
Instantaneously. So until you get there, you gotta do what you gotta do.
How many married couples, for real, in our world right now, both of them are just content and just getting there with thinking about each other, and that's all that shit. Born again believer.
I feel like you got kids, you got work. When you got time to, like I said, I listened to a friend. I don't have time to cheat.
In your mind, of course, everyone has time to cheat. In your mind.
No, we ain't got time for
we're
that.
not saying
I go to King Liberty, Houston. Hey.
But you're not ready.
If something look good, I'm like, babe, you saw that?
Okay.
You know, like,
I did.
look at that point, we ain't got time.
But not that person, but that moment. I want to say like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with my husband and I'm gonna think about this when I'm tired and this is gonna get me off. No, but just that moment. I'm not saying like, it's just a moment. Like this, I associate this with my best experience and I need this right now, but I'm not going off of that person, but I'm going
Would
off
you
of
tell
that
him?
moment or that experience.
you tell him?
Exactly.
What, that old baby, I had a flashback?
That you're not. Would you tell him that you're not getting that?
I mean, okay, who's gonna really say
Hurt my feelings.
that?
Wait, hold on.
I think that there is a danger in thinking of someone else because what if you call that person's name?
Because that is dangerous.
Yeah.
But you're not thinking of the person, but you're thinking of the experience.
So that's selfish.
But what if
It's selfish.
because you know you're having sex multiple times, so you're going to that person every time.
cheating
So
on me.
basically, you
That's why
are
I say you
meditating.
cheat.
So
That's why I say you said it to the
eventually,
past.
how do you call that person's name?
Wait,
Like,
but this is why I agree with what Miss Chris said. It's not about that person per se. It's whatever experience you had with that person that heightened whatever feeling you're feeling. So it could, like I said before, it could just literally be because he yoked you up and they did something for you.
So what if that person comes back?
That's why I said sex is gold.
Wait, but that's what I'm saying. It's more than just. It's not just about the sex at that point because obviously, like your ex is your ex for a reason.
This is why we into the danger zone. So let's say
Your ex is your ex for a reason.
I want him to
But
choke
we
me up
talking
like
about
Jimmy
that-
did, because Jimmy know how to choke.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yes, when Jimmy choked you up, you felt something. So that feeling is what you want to feel.
Right.
You can create that feeling for me without choking me up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's just that feeling that you want to feel.
how?
That's what you do.
So in this setup, we talk about in marriage. You
Okay.
said the choke versus
Yes.
however your new partner can do it.
Yes.
That has
Your
to be
husband, your
vocalized.
And it has to be taught.
Exactly.
But that I don't think so. Only because Jimmy can do something that you can't do. When you do it, it don't feel the way Jimmy did it.
Ooh, but that's
But that's what I'm saying. Wait, but that's why I'm saying it's not about the act, it's about what that act made you feel. So you can, like, Jimmy could have choked me up and I felt what I felt. But you could choke me up and I don't feel it. But you can do something else that makes me feel what I feel.
That's true.
And you're not about to be married to me with outside feelings.
It's realistic.
Because the next thing is you buy me Jimmy Cologne.
Yeah.
No, see,
Now I smell like Jimmy, and Jimmy like, this nigga got my whole swag.
no. This is what I'm talking about. You're missing my point. My point is not about Jimmy.
But now you're married to
Jimmy.
me.
Yes,
So
and that's
now
the
we gotta
thing.
have communication between
Yes,
those feelings.
I agree. But the thing, what I'm trying to express is you can do multiple things that gives me that feeling.
That make you forget.
No, just hear me out.
Yeah,
You
you
can
like
give
to
me
listen.
multiple
Listen.
feel, like you can do certain things. Like let's say, oof, yes, he just did that and it just did this for me, right? It just triggers something for me. It doesn't mean that you have to do what Jimmy did. All I'm saying is that Jimmy did it at one point and it made me feel like this. If I don't feel like that today, if today I'm not feeling anything at all, I'm thinking about what Jimmy did.
No, this is the part where too, I think women have to realize that men have emotions and men have feelings, men have egos.
Exactly.
I would be the husband and be like, hey, now this Jimmy is a problem.
It's not about
No.
Jimmy.
It's not about Jimmy.
Yes.
It's about the fact that you have a void that I cannot feel,
No,
and that doesn't make me feel
Listen,
good.
what if she never tells you about Jimmy Choo? She don't tell you about Jimmy, but there's like a glistening in her eyes that you like that glistening.
Come on.
You don't know that it's Jimmy giving that glistening. So would it be like what Derek said? Basically, it says as long as you're not screaming Jimmy.
Exactly.
You got to
That's
do it.
Listen, Mama, that's
Check
where
this out.
for me it doesn't work for me because I'm a person where I would have to be like, nah, we got a problem, and I would not have rest till we talk about that.
Right.
That's the kind of man I am.
She can fake
But
that,
listen.
though, like
I think you
that.
gotta teach.
And that's why I agree with you. That's when it's more so about like, hey, like I haven't been feeling this for a while. Where can we kind of meet in the middle? Because I don't feel that spark. I don't feel that. I don't feel it in our relationship right now.
What
Then
if
we
you
work
never
on-
feel it for the rest of your life?
Well, then that's when
I don't think it's
Jimmy, where you at?
Why did you marry me?
No, I'm asking that question. No,
to the
I'm
right.
asking that question because realistically, if we're saying men, it's visual and it's you gotta get there. And okay, feelings can grow. But what if them sparks will never reach the sparks you've ever reached?
You gotta create your own spark. New sparks we're
that
gonna
part is
create.
like if
New spark.
But
If
that's what
it's-
she's saying. What if it doesn't happen?
no.
It's going to happen.
If was a
It's
fifth,
impossible.
I will make it happen.
No.
It's impossible for it not to happen.
That part. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
That's not
Not
Like,
true. There's
Let's
marriages
talk about
where
that.
it is
Would you
dead.
ever
No, they
say
got
there's
married.
somebody in your life that can't compare to somebody else?
When it comes to sex,
Say that again.
Sex, a relationship, and love. Like whenever you're trying to compare people, which we all do, like that's the reality. Would you say, even though they come close, there will always be that person that kind of
That get.
it's a little higher than the rest.
Why
No
you
matter
so
how
serious?
much you try to place them, they could be neck to neck, but it's like
No, bro.
Say it again.
that person will never match.
This is why I should have kept myself.
That's the reality.
Right there. You know, this is why. This
That's
is
it.
like for the people that's not married. This is why you keep yourself.
So that part, what he just said, a revelation I got was that why God wants us to not fornicate before marriage is for our memories, like for what this person protect us. Like it's not because I don't want you to have sex. I made it like that.
What did I
Like,
say? I know somebody said that before.
I think that's what if you're married,
Exactly.
get divorced, remarried.
Yeah. No,
So,
well,
you
that's what I'm saying.
get
The
that-
first wife, let me tell you, that's what you said, right?
The pop-
That means when you met your
Hit 'em
wife,
up.
right? You were a virgin, you wouldn't have no other, it's a blank slate.
right.
You married her, she's your best, she's the best thing, all right?
Best I ever had.
You got divorced, but that was the best
Best
thing.
I ever had. Best I ever had.
Now you with your new wife. It's not like you was having 5,000 relationships out there. No, you just had one. You've been
Right.
faithful to one all your life.
Definitely.
And that was the best you ever had.
Definitely.
It happens though. Are you telling me the thought of her is something that
Never.
God would never want you to even have?
Go a little while longer.
I would say like it's a unending story. Like it's so many tricks and trades you could implement in sex. Like there's no like I have I've read all these books and I have everything. Like you can keep, it goes on. Like
Each
there's
game
no,
is
like,
different.
It
But
changes.
that's what I'm saying. Don't you have to accept the fact that you will never, I don't know, like there is, I don't know how to explain it. Like you would have to accept that there might be the best one and I may never have it again.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. For me
Yeah.
to enjoy what I need to
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yes.
But if you're gonna be teaching her or teaching him to get there and the reality is like
You're not gonna get what you
you're
want.
not gonna ever
And
get what you
you
actually
drive
need.
yourself crazy comparing
Yeah.
yourself. I feel like I don't have to
It's
be
like
your best
checking
one.
with
I'm your
your
last one.
covenant though.
But
That's
that's
why-
would you really want that though? I don't have to be your best one. I'm your last one.
Because how would I know unless you communicate to me? So like if I'm thinking I'm doing the do, and you come, I think I did my job. Unless you tell me otherwise. Unless like my discernment kick in, like you
That's
saying.
what you
But
mean, you did a
sometimes
good
you
job when you asked
just
me.
maybe what if that's something God has for me because He don't want to hurt my
That's
feelings.
why porn
That
is
he
dangerous,
just wants me to
because-
feel like I'm the best thing.
That's
to
what I
him.
say. Like
I'm the last one. I don't know.
if your old marriage, she was the best.
Yeah.
Once you divorce, she's no longer the best. It should
My
already
type
be
is
in
who
your
I'm with now.
mind.
Come on.
That's
Going into
what
your
I'm
new
saying.
marriage,
on.
now
That's
she's
what
gonna
I'm
be the
saying.
best. Regardless of how things felt, if a flash come in the mind, mama, that's just deliverance needed. Something.
You are Apostle Son.
Something she said. Something in your hold on. Something in your said. In your said this. In your said that. If all of a sudden your dude can make you feel that okay. Same thing that Jimmy was doing.
Yeah.
But the day that he can't, she's going back to Jimmy. That means she choose to go back to Jimmy because
No. But you could like reference that with the same thing we do with like other things. Like,
Yes.
But that don't mean that's gonna always last.
That
Like,
doesn't
there's
mean I'm
things you
choosing
could-
Jimmy.
No. Say for instance,
But
that mean you
let's go back to
choosing
what you
Jimmy.
said.
Because
let's go back to what you said
because-
about once you divorce, then she's no longer the best. What do you mean? If it's a gift, God ain't gonna take that gift, baby. She might just
don't-
do that.
I don't know.
What do you? Then you're lying to yourself. You're entering into
You
a
really
delusion.
are.
My thing is,
No.
I don't get full
because
off of
with
thinking
sex-
about food.
Wait, hold on, guys. We're not gonna be able to pick nothing
With
this up.
sex, sex is what you make of it.
Yes.
Is it though? That's my question.
And I don't get full
Exactly.
off
That's what you make of it.
Yes.
of. I believe
What do
you.
you mean it's what you make of it? Because your body parts ain't telling you that. You better make something that's gonna make me
But
have an
what is that
orgasm.
catalyst that I'm
It's
making?
not, I can't just think of an orgasm and it's gonna happen.
People can do that. But just say,
Okay.
no. People can do that.
Just think orgasm. You don't have to have nothing.
Yes, mama. People can do that.
But that's not all.
People can do that.
What do you mean you don't have to?
You can even take up
No contact and have orgasms.
Don't be selfish. Imagination.
I want to say something. Like, I feel like a dude sometimes, right? I'm going to be honest because for me, my past relationship, my ex-husband, in that season of my life, I thought he was the best. And then this dude is going to call me and be like, oh, have you ever had anybody better than me? Because they know, they know that they're the best. And they rub it in your face like, I'm the best you ever had. So they want you to come back, right? But for me, what I did in that scenario, I block out my experience. It was good. But I want to create new memories. And because I was open to create new memories, I had another best. So now I'm single. Now I have to do what? Do the same thing.
and teach.
Grandmama Jane, the recipes gone.
Mama, I'm gonna find another best.
Not everybody finds another best.
I'm gonna find.
I think that's up to the individual.
I'm gonna find. I'm gonna create another best. And also, when it comes down to for me personally, I don't have to have intercourse to have a certain type of orgasm.
Yeah,
right? Right. I can.
Wait, there's a question. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I can look at a man, the one that my man, not nobody else man.
You gonna know whether
right?
it's good sex or
No,
not?
I'm not talking about that. Yes, you have experience with the man. Is you're dating, you having stuff, blah 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 blah. You see this man, your body automatically is like
because your emotional connection.
Your emotional connection. It's like everything in you, and you have, and without even thinking about anything. It's not knowing. It's happening in your body.
It's already
But it's already happening.
Now, this is my question. That's you finding your other best.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that person is not really in touch with their hormones to even have that chemistry, that electricity happening, and you just find somebody else and you got married to them, not in pursuit of are they my next best or can I make them the best?
You can make them.
Like you didn't do the test drive.
We should have went to Papa.
You get what I'm saying? You didn't do the test drive, so you really don't know what category they're in. You married them, and they not better.
That's
what the question is. It's not like you sought out, okay, I can't go down from here. Like, I gotta find another best. I gotta have an experience, like you're saying, where it's like, I feel you, you look at me, I already know. We gonna get there.
Reality,
I'm talking about, what if you don't know how you gonna get, but you get there, you in it, you married, and it's not what it was. James is saying you can teach them. I'm saying if you never get there,
Mama,
and the flashbacks start hitting.
I feel like
I'm gonna answer you. And my answer is, with me, you're gonna be the best.
Yes.
Because
Build
I just like how the man of God can say, I know what I can do. I know what I can do.
Like,
You've been lying to yourself.
Mama, I'm not. Mama,
Like,
I am 35. Wait, Mama.
I mean,
I'm 35 years old, and I'm not new to this.
Right.
So I know my capability. You've been married for 17 years. So you know your experience and what you can do and what you can't do. So when you speak of a place of what? Experience. When I speak of a place of experience. For somebody that is younger, that is not fully experienced, they will doubt what they will see in their future and what their
And that's why older people have
that. Sex is very subjective. You can be very confident in your ability and think that you are the best ever, and your partner be like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Then that's not your partner. That's not your partner.
I feel like you two are like, it's like you in love with yourself. Like you got confidence in yourself. It ain't about what your partner think of you. You just like, bro, I know what I can do. Like you really doing what you doing. I'm sitting there. Like, what I'm talking about. Like it's possible to not have your back.
So
His feather's pretty.
If what you said,
Angels.
how can that be your partner? How can that be your partner if
That's a different conversation.
No, it's the same conversation.
It's not.
It's the same. So how can I make you my
That's like
partner
saying-
if I don't please you?
Right. That's it.
But that goes back to what Mama is saying. That's exactly.
gotta wait till marriage.
That's what exactly what Mama is saying.
So if I'm a virgin, then we can
Christ,
marry.
right? You in Christ. We didn't
That's like, but
It's
at the same
beyond
time, at the same time, that's like saying God made a mistake somewhere.
No.
No.
God did not say
Yes.
focus on sex and make sure it's the
But-
best sex you've ever had in your
but
life. God
you have
said
to
be
work
fruitful
on it.
and multiply.
You
That
have to-
means you can lay on your back and be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, but you have to
So
teach
it's an
each other,
investment.
though.
So-
You gotta teach
It can
each
be
other
an
how to
investment.
please
It can be
you.
an investment and still not be the best sex. The conversation is
That's
the
a
best
if
sex.
that's
yeah,
it
it's like
won't
a-
happen. You're telling yourself
Yeah.
that. So if you doing that and I'm not, I'm sitting here like, we gonna get it.
Because it's your mind.
First of all, if a man or a woman is sexually active, and they're gonna be drawn to that, so their partner is gonna be somewhat just like them. They're not gonna be the opposite.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be the
The
opposite.
giver has to be
It's
like
gonna
the
be
receiver.
it's gonna be somewhat. They're gonna be drawn physically, mentally, spiritually, almost to the same thing.
I have a question.
So all I'm saying is when the flashback comes and it hits you, would you tell your spouse? Would you not? Would you rebuke him? Would you go on the altar? Would you ask for deliverance? Because y'all a different breed.
Yeah,
You tell
there's
me
no
you never
flashback.
had a
I'm
flash-
sorry.
a flash.
There's no
Yeah,
flashback.
you can
Not your ex-husband
No.
or wife. No. I'm not talking about ex-husband or wife. It could even be porn. It could be anything that arouses you
Right.
to have a certain. If you telling me that thing hits you, you gonna be like, I didn't know that was even.
I love where you
possible.
stand with
I
that.
think you should rebuke it.
So
Because what about
Okay, Precious had a question. My bad.
No, first another question.
I lost my question.
I think it's okay.
she got it. She got it.
So, what if the person you saying you have your best, you moved on, you got a new partner, and you said you can teach them. What if they're not teachable? They just not getting it?
This is why I'm going to try to get to know them before I marry them. This is how I want to sit down because I know my sexual appetites, and if my sexual appetites and your sexual appetite don't go together, I can't get married.
Okay, but what?
Just ruined the marriage.
No.
That's a lie.
I'm married for sex.
I know you're not fucking.
Who said we don't marry for sex? You should marry them. You should marry them.
But you know.
But you have to.
You ain't out here. All right, let me get in this car. See how I drive.
Literally, wait, okay.
Change in the
Even-
spirit once you're married.
Search the matter.
Wait, the most successful marriage is a arranged marriage.
That's true.
Statistically, the most
That's true.
successful marriage is an arranged marriage. Two people that don't know each other, never met each other, never even necessarily spoken to. They're able to make their marriage the most successful marriage. We're not considering sex. We're not considering the best they ever had. So the idea that literally if someone sexually cannot please you, you're out. I'm God.
You don't even understand marriage.
All right.
So
Let me explain what I meant. If God is going to choose a spouse for me, right? If God is going to choose a spouse for me, right? If I'm just going to look for a random guy, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But meaning God is going to choose a spouse for me, meaning somebody in church, and then as my father would zoom in.
God will never choose
You know,
for you.
Zoom in, but mama, conversation, dating, getting to know a person. If I want sex every day and this man only wants sex once a month, we
You said
can't
I
work.
won't marry him, yeah.
Mama, I can't. How am I going to survive?
But maybe you can pray about that, like.
And that will happen.
I don't want to pray about it.
But she has the option.
Honestly, if you
to not
notice,
marry
9 times out of 10, it's usually the opposite. Like what your partner wants, your other partner don't want. You have to compromise. Marriage is compromise. What you want in your heart, your partner's not.
Once you're married, your body is not your own. So even for the man, let's say for example, the older women get, the more prone they are to wanting sex, and then men are actually in the decline. So then it reverses. Your body is not your own. So from experience, I remember one time I was asleep. I was like, "We gotta spend time." I was like, "Okay." Did I feel like it? No. As a man, I thought I would never say that. So you have to give yourself up whether it's the man or the woman, you have to.
Give yourself up.
It's not your body.
It's not your body no more. It's her body too.
Amen.
So my body is hers, her body is mine.
Amen.
And that works both ways.
Amen.
I get what you're saying, Jody. Like you create new memories, but I feel like the old memories are always gonna be there.
It's gonna
Like,
be there.
I don't think it's wrong to have a flash
I can forgive.
of somebody while you're having sex.
But that's
I think
cheating.
that's not cheating.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
wait. No. I don't think it's. Let's. If you having sex and you
No, that's
just
what you said.
randomly have a flash.
No, that's what
If you allow it, no, we're saying if you
I'm saying
allow
yes,
it, wouldn't that
exactly.
be considered as? I mean, you basically doing it with them
Sometimes
too.
some people can control the images that pop up in the.
Yeah.
That mean they need to deny something more.
If that's the case, don't have no
You need to
celebrity.
deny yourself more.
Yeah, because you're thinking about how this person did it better.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not the person.
Or this.
That's why they make
It's not the person.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
If
what
I'm
I'm
just
saying.
having sex and
Eliminate
then
the person.
a random
and say,
image just
but-
flash in my mind.
Yeah, that's not
Let him
working.
talk. Go ahead.
And a random image just flash in my mind.
Yeah. And you
Usually I'm gonna
accept
be like, no.
it. Yeah, but do you accept it? Is the
That's the
question.
thing. If I accept it and I allow it to get me to my climax,
Right.
then I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
why
we-
would do you have self-control in that moment to be like stop thinking, and
Mama,
still get there?
that's like telling somebody to have self-control over their own trauma because they smell something.
So we
That
supposed
brought
to
up that
put
trauma
that
and that
pull
image in
down.
their mind.
We supposed
So
to.
you're saying
You
it's
gotta
going to
apply it.
happen.
I think it's
just
going to
don't
happen.
dwell on it to get to your orgasm.
Yeah.
It's
He's
gonna-
saying the flashback is gonna happen whether you like it or not, especially if you're not satisfied with who you're with. The concept that this past we're talking about is not connected to this.
Something
Is there
wrong.
is there a way you can even have a flashback without having a soul tie?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm talking about. If it's not a
I don't
soul
think
tie,
so.
it's just a flashback.
It's just a
Because if you say, oh, I ain't never had that before, you compared it to what you had before.
Right.
The flashback.
Say that again?
But that
If you
doesn't
say
mean
like, let's say something in the act, and you say, oh, I ain't never had that before, that's because you remember what you had before.
But that,
So,
That's what I'm
but
saying. But if you've accepted that
it's
comparison
not bad.
now,
That part is not
and
bad.
that gets you to wherever you need to go, my thing is like,
Is that
Can
necessarily
porn be
that?
a soul
Is it-
tie?
Huh?
Can
It opens the door.
Yeah.
Because you know how you
Of
guys
course.
are saying it doesn't have to be a person. It can be porn. But if that's a soul tie too, then
Yeah.
so
But she
porn
still
can
take her.
Mama, in the middle of sex, I'm there doing my thing, and then I start thinking about another guy. Only way, it didn't happen, but just saying, okay? Only way that would happen unless the sex is not good. And even if I think about another person, it's basically a turn off.
yeah, that's how I feel.
But that's
You know,
what she's
it's
saying is the
basically-
sex is not good, and that image of the
Who's
person who
talking
was
in the
good
middle?
pops in your head.
I would prefer to tell
And
the
you get turned
truth.
off.
Okay.
That's when I was young, in my younger
You said when
years.
she was young, she
Right,
had
yeah.
a
But now I will tell you to get up and like, hold on, we need to, hold on. Take a deep breath, drink some water,
But
go
you-
to the bathroom,
You know
something,
something?
and let's reset.
You know, the thing
Okay.
is, connection is important.
discourage
It's always
them.
deeper than sex.
It's very.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my intention, sir, is not to discourage you, but we need to reset.
And you gotta respect it.
You gotta respect. I'm a very bold person. I'm gonna tell you what I want, how I want it. That's just me. You may not be that person. I had to be that person because of my experience.
but what if you doing that now is a form of rejection for him?
Yeah.
And he feels
Clearly it's
rejected.
like, okay, I'm not doing
Well,
what
we're
I
gonna
need
have
to
to-
do.
what if
he
I
follows
thought I was
his
doing my best.
Yes.
I think it's
Mama,
something.
why do I have to? Mama, hold on.
I
Let
think
me
you
say
have to
this.
be
Hold on.
wise
Let me
about how
say
you
this,
bring it up
Ma.
to him.
Listen, men, they're gonna get theirs. I'm gonna get mine. And this is how I get mine. Right? You're not doing what I want to, how you to do it.
So
and you're
she's
not doing
gonna-
it correctly. I'm gonna let you know that. Listen, you're not. I'm not gonna say it in a
tone's
way
not-
to offend you.
The tone is not gonna be that.
You can't use it.
It's not going. It's not. I don't think it will be
That wouldn't be a problem.
like a verbally conversation like that. It just be
This might be verbal.
in the action. It's just if he's not doing what I believe, if a dude
Put it-
not doing
put it
what
to the
a
point.
dominant woman won't, then she would just reverse the situation and do what she need to
Get where
direct
she
her.
go.
Yeah,
Men
what
will
she
feel
need to go.
intimidated by that too, right?
Some men like
If-
that.
But some
All right,
man,
if
that's
they're
what I'm about
not-
to say.
some-
A man will accept
Some
that.
making size and stuff.
What the
You're not into it.
They like y'all side like.
This is so important now. It is.
Like, hurry up and be done. Like
That's
like
real.
that kind of like,
These are this.
I'm tired.
like hurry up
Yeah.
and be done kind of
Now
vibe.
that's
Then she
illegal.
mad at you.
Yeah, because that can be
Mad at you.
proven in court. That's not right. Nobody wants to.
It's not fair for a man to always get what they need.
True.
But they said
right, and then the woman, they're not being pleased. I have to talk up. I have to speak up for my right. It's my right to get what I need.
Yeah,
It's my right.
That's what we're saying. And sometimes what you need is to take a little stroll onto the back.
No, I'm not. I'm not. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop and we're gonna pause and we're gonna have a conversation.
By the way, I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but I'm saying that's what we do. Point period. 80% of this humanity. That's what we. I don't care how dignified and saint you are. Stop it. You have flashbacks. Period.
They do. I know.
Right, so now
I think it's different, Mom, because
And then sometimes you don't think it's.
You had it once, at least once.
let me say this.
Hold on. Let's go.
Go ahead. Go out to Scott.
Like the experience, like the time frame, like it could be like 4 or 5 years for some people.
It can, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 50 years.
But
then again, desire for something else, you don't think you'll be open to new experiences because you're still stuck in
You
it.
thinking about that 20
Not
years
even
later?
desire
Something
for
wrong with
something
you,
else.
bro.
That's what I'm saying.
You still got that flag?
60 years of marriage. Are you telling me both individuals in Christ Jesus, all they've been thinking about is both of their body parts?
Speaking in tongues, Holy Ghost.
Nothing else.
Nothing more than
I think we can get to that point, Mom.
about both of their body parts.
I think we can get to that point.
It can definitely.
I think we can get there.
How much have you like sought after this?
After
how much?
years.
How
Well,
long?
let's ask the married man.
How deep you want this
Mama,
to
I
get?
just want to say this. Say if, like me being married for 17 years, right? I already used me. Say if my ex-wife was my best that I ever had, right?
Yeah.
So,
She might be watching.
I don't care what you watching.
Oh my God.
Make sure you receive her deliverance. So, say she was my best, right?
Right.
Sex was off the chain. She was my best.
Yeah.
So,
Hypothetically.
but she done other stuff
Who just felt this? So
to like hurt me, to brutalize me, right?
Yeah.
So that like how can like just say if I'm in the middle with my new wife doing them godly things,
hallelujah.
and like how can that thought comes to my head even if she was the best, because her face will remind me of the like hurt.
That's what we're saying.
More than how good the sex was.
Exactly.
So for me, that's why I say it's impossible for them thoughts to come in my head.
That's exactly what we're saying. Like, it's beyond just a physical act of sex. Like, it ties into other things. It's not necessarily the person, it's whatever feeling they gave you. So, it like right now you're talking about the fact that she hurt you, right? It's not the person. Now you're dismissing the person.
No.
So
I'm saying I'm erasing the whole situation.
Yes. So if she was somebody that only did right by you, right? And she gave you a certain feeling, right? You're now saying, like, what we're saying is it possible to think about that feeling that that person gave you because they did nothing but right by you? Now I'm going to flip it. Like, now let's say hypothetically, you were with someone who didn't do you right. It didn't do you wrong. Let's say they really did you right. The only reason why you guys didn't work out
They did two right.
You the one that did it wrong.
Two right. Literally, the only reason why you guys didn't work out is because maybe you live different places in the world, or you know, you guys, you know, your faith was off, right? But this person gave you like everything,
Gave me
like
the word.
you feel right, you feel whatever it is.
The best sex.
The best sex.
Best everything.
Everything is great, right? Like, to get to that place where we say realistically, like, you're never gonna think of them ever again because they're your ex. How realistic is that?
I think when we strengthen our mind,
It's possible, is what you're saying.
yes, because you will live in a fantasy with
And it
every
actually wasn't
other
as good as
person,
you making it up in your head.
but it's a fantasy,
Yeah.
and it's not real.
Okay, so this is where, thank God.
Whatever was real in that bedroom.
Thank God.
No,
that
I'm just saying with every
I
other
went
partner or
backwards
every other
and
marriage,
backslid
it's become a
'cause
family.
out of experience. So let's say you go back to that person and you realize I did make it the best in my head, and you realize it actually wasn't that good. It's like grandmama cooking. It was good all those years when you was a kid. You go back home after all them years and you're like, grandma don't season that stuff good.
Right.
It's like that sometimes when you go back to her ex. It was so good. Man, she was the best. And then you go back and be like, actually it wasn't. It wasn't. Because I'm saying, I've had that experience out of backsliding. Amen. So I can say, like, sometimes you've drawn it up in your head. So that's why with that new person, you can create a new thing. And it may take time because that's the feeling you got out of that, not the feeling they actually gave you.
I don't think you're creating something new.
No, I'm saying that person, you played a part in that feeling. That person may not have been actually that good. At that time, you might have been 15 years old, 16 years old.
Chris is saying you shouldn't even have to go back to that person even.
I'm saying that's a reference point.
But so look, we're talking about sex, right? You know how you said you go back and you realize the sex is not, that's if you're focused on the sex. So in that point in time, the reason why it was the best for you is because you're tying in also the emotional aspect of it. Emotionally, that person is giving you everything you need during that time, during that season. Now you move on from that season and you're in someone else's season with another person, right? You're being fed with something else that's fulfilling you. So if you go backwards, they're not going to give you the same feeling because you're being fulfilled in another way somewhere else. So that's why I'm saying it's not about the sex. It's about what that person is making you feel.
I feel like we married because we agreeing.
I'm just
arguing about something we agree about.
It's a feeling. Like, what feeling are you giving me? Because if right now, like, you're not making me feel a certain type of way, to some way, shape, or form, we're gonna be disconnected. Not necessarily because our sex.
We gotta go back to the drawing board.
We can have great sex. It can literally, you could hit every spot, G spot, Q spot, every spot. You could be hitting it. But if I'm not emotionally connected to you, there's something automatically that's gonna be off.
But look, check this out. But if not being emotionally connected or whatever it is that's throwing in your mouth, if that make you go to the past to connect to something in the past, then that's wrong.
It doesn't make you
but that's not even that person anymore in the past. Now that's a personal issue.
It's an entity.
You're chasing a feeling. You're not chasing a person.
It's not even about that person anymore.
It's like, I want to feel something, and the only time I remember feeling something is when I was with that person.
That's blessing somebody, because that's definitely what people in marriages go through a lot of times. That's why people aren't they're married, and outside it looks good, but that woman hasn't had an orgasm in a long time. And that's sad. Because you need to speak up, and he needs to be receptive.
I'll speak up for you. Let me speak for you. I'll speak up for you. Speak up. Wake up. Wake up. But my question is.
What's the point of speaking up if you know?
That's what I'm saying. That person's not giving you that feeling. Now what do we do? Mama, you gotta make your ever again. You gotta make your ever again.
But at what point?
The Book of Solomon said it was sweet, which means he
If he
tasted
speak with
it.
his mouth, with his fingers, that's with something.
The Book of Solomon said it was sweet, so he tasted it.
It's like a woman being
But you
with a
can't
partner
reach
that's
your
really
words
small,
will.
but
Amen.
she gets super wet for him.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not about his size. Like, he could literally never hit anything.
No.
But there's something that she's doing. There's something that he's doing that's doing it for her. He's just doing it. Saying, like, it's not about the sex. Like, you're not doing anything physically. Like, if anything, okay, I'm happy just pleasing you. Why is that? But you still get me going every time.
But
why
it's like
is
we
Come on, Miss Chris. Go ahead.
I say this. Okay?
Come on now.
That says Chris.
And I've never been married.
Come on.
But I've dated a long time.
And you've done a lot of stuff.
You've been a lot of places.
Okay?
Experience.
So what I say, I can't speak from a point of marriage, but I've been emotionally and physically loyal and connected to somebody. But it wasn't the best relationship. But in my head,
In your head.
with this person, I cannot say when I was with somebody that in the midst of it, I didn't reflect back on that. I would be lying if I said that. I'm not saying, I stayed there. But if I'm about to bust open and
Come on, sister.
and it comes in my head, what you think I'm finna say? No.
Right.
No, because at this point, it's all like, I'm not saying, I'm all flesh, but I'm already there. I'm not gonna shut it off. I mean, if it happened, it happened. But I'm not gonna say, it's gonna happen every single time. No.
I mean,
So I would be lying if I sit here and say, I can't reference my best sex moment in bed with somebody else. I'm not referencing, but if it happened, if it pops in my head, it's there. I'm not gonna stop myself from. You think I'm gonna stop? Nigga, you gonna stop?
And that's what happen every time.
So okay, on demand you think of, this was my bet. Like,
that's what I believe.
You got a resume.
No, you're not. But
So
it
really
pops in your head
That's what.
because you're associating that feeling with an experience. And that experience just so happened to be with another person, but I'm not saying, oh, I need to go be with that person right now.
True. Yeah.
And I'm with that person, or I'm about to leave my man to go be with him. No, it's the reason I left, but it's the reason that moment was good too.
Right.
Because if I have my best sex, have you given me better so you could be my best? You haven't. But if you do, then okay, we ain't gotta have this question. Baby, you my best.
So we realize, okay, so yes, it can happen. It does happen. Mama said 80% of the time.
It ain't me, baby.
But,
me, baby.
You my best.
right.
And yours.
But does it become a problem when it's constantly happening?
Yeah,
Yes.
Constantly thinking about
Yeah,
that.
of course.
That's
because
a
then
problem.
you're always aiming that.
Yeah, that means you've created
That's
a
the
mental standard, and it's like you don't even care about the person that's
close your
laying
mind
down.
to
So
what
what do you
Jody's saying.
do?
So Mama,
But that's what Jody said. That's now saying like you've closed your mind to new experiences. What?
I've noticed that there were some times where it was like, this is not. You can tell when someone's just not satisfied.
Yeah.
Because and you just know, like, you have to be attentive to your partner. You can
Yeah.
just know, like, I'm not. You're not satisfied. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
You're comparing something
I'm
in
not
your
about to be
mind.
competing.
Yeah.
So
You can feel
for
that.
me, as a person who's noticing that, like, I'm not pleasing them to their expectations. So it is discouraging. Like, we don't even need to have a conversation. Sometimes you don't even need to tell the person. Like, you can just see it. Like, this is not working for you. So I had to really just condition myself. Like, okay, you have to really think and focus on the person. Like, you have to put a wall and block, like, let me forget the past. Let me focus on this person. So I had to, like, ask, like, so what is it? What is it? Like, tell me what it is that you like.
That's a compliment.
And you have to really be teachable. So if you want your husband, wife, whatever, to be your best, you have to teach them.
Well,
And
they have to be teachable.
it's very discouraging. Like Jody said, she's going to speak up and say it.
Right.
But
That
as
conversation
for-
is not
But
easy.
for men, how do you teach them to look like something they will never look like? Unless
But
they
that's
have
when it's
surgery
about the
for it.
person.
Because-
That's when it's about the person.
because
That's when it's about the person.
Yeah, it's-
I think it's about the feeling. But if you make it about the person, then you just stuck in the past.
Oh, she think the men are
I'm saying
visual.
men are visual, so it's not always the feeling first.
Mama
But
said
men
that.
are visual. I gotta be attracted to you, baby. If you look like
Exactly.
my auntie Susie,
But then
I'm
that's-
not gonna get hard.
Yeah, that's why I think it's weird that you would choose a wife or a partner to be your wife and your partner. That means that whatever I select in you, I love it. I like it. I'm committing to it for the rest of
But
my
that's what I'm
life.
saying. What Precious is saying, you can tell that at some point it's not.
But
there.
we already established you need
So,
deliverance.
but guys, no. But then
International?
guys can answer that, I guess. Like, what if the problem is the attraction level?
Like
you
you're
can't
not
teach her
attracted
that.
to it.
Nor are you gonna tell her go get a BBL
For women.
or go fix your face,
but
go get lighter.
But
Or go-
isn't that
That means you
when
chose
you
the wrong
start
person.
to, even if you chose already, even doesn't that mean that, like, if now all of a sudden this woman is not looking like how you what are the things you like,
The woman
isn't that also your mind as well? Because it's her traits that changed in your head.
Yeah.
So I think that's when we go to the Bible.
Yes, exactly. So we
We
have
have to start putting strongholds
exactly.
down.
No. But we
Never
at
mind.
in the same breath, we have a responsibility to
Love
the woman
your
to ourselves, wash it with the word.
Oh,
do all
okay,
these different
okay. But
things,
then
like-
let's get real. All right.
Thank you,
That
Mama.
woman
Thank
now,
you.
Y'all
you
holding
loving
on.
her, you loving it, great.
Mm-hmm.
She get a little older. Her boob is sagging.
Well, yeah.
They taste the
And that was your
same.
favorite
She's
trait.
looking different. Your favorite traits are going down.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Today.
Are you telling me that you will be just as attracted and just as horny looking at her traits, other than the traits of maybe somebody else that's probably didn't go down south?
Like, your desire still has to be strong.
Yes,
like what
yeah,
else
desire.
can we implement?
Sexually,
What
I'm
other
talking
factors
emotionally
there?
and spiritually.
It's
I'm
physical.
talking physically.
Not even.
Are you gonna be there the same way?
Not even.
I think
What
so.
character can I jump
Because
into
because
that we could, like,
because
Hey.
because love.
what is there? Like, what could you make and cultivate that'll take that experience and heighten it? Like, it's not necessarily.
I think when it's true love, you don't see you see different.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. So you're saying your perspective, your level
Everything.
of sex. What about
You
if
just
you
use
have
a
a greater calling? Let's say me and Papa, our sex is just dry and it just sucks. But hey, The
You're
fruit
calling
is
this.
the fruit.
And people do.
That's what I'm saying.
People do.
How do you
put
battle
sex
that?
at the
Like,
bottom.
how do you deal with the fact that, hey, there's a greater purpose in this marriage, it's just not happening in the bed?
People do it.
So, would you allow your imagination to go wherever it needs to go to get what you need? Because you know you're not leaving this marriage.
Jesus Lord.
There's a fire